So I want you to think about your favorite childhood park. What does it look like? What do you hear? And who's around you? My favorite park growing up has to be the place where I learned to play baseball. I was actually about 5 years old at the time, and our family had recently immigrated from Argentina to the United States. Now, when I came to my parents and I asked them I wanted to play baseball, they were a little shocked. They didn't quite understand why their son was more interested in playing a sport they had never heard of than wanting to play soccer. But they were good parents and they let me sign up anyway. And the league, most of the kids in the league actually came from the neighborhoods that surrounded this park. But then there were kids like me that came from a lower income area just a couple miles down the road. So at the time, as a 5-year-old, I wasn't really thinking about how unique of a dynamic this really would be to play in a league with kids that didn't look like me and had different backgrounds. You know, I was more concerned about having fun and making friends. But really, I think one of the things that stood out from that experience was our family. We finally felt welcome in Tulsa, and we learned to call this city our home. So today, I work at a park, which is actually just a couple blocks away from my childhood park. And this park is called Gathering Place. It is an international award-winning park that's been named by USA Today as America's best newest attraction and been named one of the best places to visit in the world by Time magazine. And the name of the park reflects its guiding vision. Gathering Place is a place of unity, a park for everyone that is designed to bring people together to a vibrant and inclusive space so they can enjoy natural environments, they can socialize, and they can play. And our team, we could easily cater to the surrounding neighborhoods that are around this park. But we are committed every single day to create an environment where all our communities feel welcome and where we can serve our communities. And this is an ongoing journey for us. And we really believe all cities can do this. So I'm going to share just some of the ways that we are striving to create a park for everyone. So it may sound counterintuitive, but why wouldn't a free park just automatically be for everyone? Well, Tulsa, like most U.S. cities, is actually really spread out. And if you don't have access to a vehicle, it can actually be really difficult to navigate the city. And today we live in a world where it's becoming easier and easier to be self-contained and stay in our bubbles. And in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has really only heightened that isolation and self-containment. But the main reason is Tulsa has a long and unfortunate history of social and racial inequality. And the fact remains is we're still living the effects of one of the largest race massacres in U.S. history that happened nearly 100 years ago. And most Tulsans, they'll tell you, they associate North Tulsa with our African American community, East Tulsa with our Hispanic Latino community, and South Tulsa with our mostly affluent white communities. Now, there are a lot of great people and great organizations that are committed to eliminating these barriers that exist, but some of these disparities were just too large for us to ignore. For instance, the park itself is centrally located in Tulsa along the riverfront, just about 2 miles from downtown. But directly across the river, we have the poorest zip code in our city. And one of the most alarming statistics say that in recent data, a child that's born in North Tulsa is expected to live 11 years less than a child that's born in South Tulsa. So we knew that we had to be very intentional in our efforts to create a park where everyone can feel welcome, or it wasn't just going to happen. So from day one, we wanted to ask Tulsans what they wanted in a park. And we held public meetings and received over 2,000 comments that really shaped the concept of Gathering Place. We also wanted to focus on cultural integration to lead our innovative community engagement strategy. So we've concentrated on 4 key cultural groups: African American, Hispanic Latino, Asian, and Native American. And we personally met with members of these communities to listen, to better understand, and build authentic relationships with people. In addition to that, we organize behind-the-scenes tours of the park throughout the construction process so they could see the park for themselves for the first time. They could have their questions answered by our park leadership team, and ultimately they'd be able to tell the story of Gathering Place to their communities in their own unique ways. But since we are a park, we wanted to create non-traditional strategies that were also fun and engaging. So we developed a team of professional dancers that had various dance disciplines like salsa, breakdancing, hip hop, and ballet. And the Gather Round crew would go throughout our communities in Tulsa to tell the story of Gathering Place, but also to transcend barriers through music and through dance. So you may see the Gather Round crew at local festivals or block parties really building excitement about the park. But what better way to engage communities and build excitement than through kids? So about 6 months before the park opened, Tulsa County kids were the first people to walk into our playground. We welcomed over 25,000 students to the park for the first time on these first look field trips. And we continue to provide transportation assistance for field trips to schools in underserved communities. And we are partnering with organizations to provide community shuttles on weekends. So another way that we are creating a park for all is through our park design and through our park operations. That's why we're a free park that's privately operated, and it's open every single day of the year and provides over 100 unique attractions for all ages and all abilities, like our 5-acre playground or our skate park and our BMX pump tracks. But the park is also uniquely designed to be accessible to everyone, with wide pathways and ample seating throughout our miles of trails, so guests can enjoy our beautiful horticultural natural environments. And we also have ADA accessible swings and wheelchair access in our playground equipment, and sensory areas throughout the park for those guests that prefer quiet areas. So one of the opportunities that we have to self-operate all of our departments is the ability to control the quality and the affordability of our experiences, especially when it comes to food. So when you come to Gathering Place and you're looking for lunch, you're not going to be paying the movie theater or theme park prices. In fact, a family of 4 can have a pretty good lunch for about $20 per family. But with great operations and great design, you also have to have great people that work at your park. And so we were very focused on creating inclusive hiring practices to find passionate individuals that believed in our mission, but also to find people that would reflect the communities that are represented here in our city. So when guests visit the park, they can see themselves in our staff and they can relate to them. And we have worked with other programs in Tulsa, like Women in Recovery, which is a women's alternative-based incarceration program. And we have the ability to partner with this group and have participants work at Gathering Place so they can just get one step closer to being reintegrated with their families and their communities. So, it's been nearly over 2 years since the park's been open, and we are starting to see a lot of people come together in our park. And one of the ways that people are coming together is through our world-class programming. And this programming is really unique because it's free, but also provides a unique cross-cultural guest experience. And through our signature events, we are celebrating Tulsa's diversity, like La Fiesta de Tulsa and the Oklahoma Tribal Celebration, which is the region's largest Native American event. But we also work with cultural advisory committees that really help us with the authenticity of these programs. And we partner with various other organizations to provide health and wellness programs that are free to the community, like Zumba classes and yoga classes. And we host quarterly wellness days that provide education and resources to some of the biggest issues that are facing our community, like obesity and mental health. And since we are a park, we want kids, when they visit here, to have access to unique opportunities so they can succeed in the future. So by learning through play, we are offering STEM-based activities, story times, and robotics classes free of charge to our kids. Now, this was all our reality pre-COVID-19 pandemic. So today, we are reimagining the role and the value that open outdoor spaces play in this time of physical distancing. But probably what I enjoy most is just watching how our guests are using their park. So on any given morning, you could walk through our lodge and you would see a knitting club just gathered around our fireplace. Or you may see a study group or a book club hanging out near the patio. But probably my favorite experience has to be the way that we celebrated our 100th day of opening. We were fortunate enough to welcome some of Tulsa's centenarians to the park for the very first time. And we provided them behind-the-scenes tour of the park. And then we brought local fourth grade students from one of our neighborhood schools so they could meet these centenarians. And it was great to hear the centenarians tell stories from their childhood of what Tulsa was and also what Tulsa is today. And really seeing words of wisdom being passed down to the next generation. So what will these fourth grade students and all kids in Tulsa, what will their experiences of their childhood park be? Well, we hope that it includes walking through Gathering Place, hearing multiple languages being spoken, and playing in this park with kids that don't look like them and kids that come from different backgrounds, and quickly learning that we're all not so different after all. That's why Gathering Place was created, and we believe our city is better because of it. Thank you.